Hey guys, it's been a long time, so I know you've anxiously awaited another video. So we're going to start with the worksheet that I handed out during announcements. And this is just a refresher for you. You had it in the lower school, so a lot of this is going to seem easy, but I still want to write it in our notes so we can get up and going next time we meet. So right now, what are we talking about? We're talking about the coordinate plane. So remember, this whole unit is about relations and functions and graphing. So we're going to start with the coordinate plane, and I've already pre-written this so you can do this while I'm chatting. And the definition is a plane divided into 4 regions used for graphing. So when we label these different parts, the origin, quadrants, x-axis, and y-axis, the origin is where it comes together at 0, 0. That's the origin. The quadrants goes in a counterclockwise position. So we start with quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And if you look, it makes like the letter C. So we start here and we go until we reach 4th quadrant. So you can make the letter C, and that's the same as quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4. The x-axis, it's like a xylophone. It goes straight out. So this is the x-axis. And the y-axis is like a yo-yo. It goes up and down. So that's a way you can remember this. An ordered pair is a point, and we always label points with parentheses, x and y. So x comes first, then y. And it's a point on a graph. I want you to look at this. And I want you to notice how much vocabulary is on there. We're talking a coordinate plane, which means you need to know what the plane is. The origin, how many quadrants, where are those quadrants located? X-axis, y-axis, an ordered pair. So while this seems easy, this is still a lot of vocabulary that we need to know, which is why I want you filling out that vocabulary, because we need to be on the same page. So now, all right. Okay, so when we name points, remember it's an ordered pair, and it's in X, Y, so it's in alphabetical order. So I'm going to start at 0, and I don't know how you learned it in lower school. Maybe it's a turtle. But we start on the x-axis, and how many times do I need to go on the x-axis to reach A? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, but I'm going in the negative direction. So it's -3, and then I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So -3, 4, and that's located in the 2nd quadrant. And quadrants are always with Roman numerals, so make sure you remember that. So B, it's going to be 1, 2 in the positive direction, and then I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and that's located in the 4th quadrant. C is located on the y-axis, so I'm not going to label that, but if I did, well, actually, I am going to label that. As an ordered pair, where does it go for X? Nowhere. So it stays here at 0. And then it's going to go up 2, and my quadrant is going to be the y-axis. Okay, so that's what I'm not doing. D is going to be 3, 1, located in the 1st quadrant. E is -2, -3, located in the 3rd quadrant. And F is going to be 5, 0, located on the x-axis. All right, so that's just kind of refreshing how we label points. All right. Get out your highlighter, because these are 2 really, really, really big, big definitions, and I know people struggle with them, and I always refer back to this page because we did talk about it. So we need to know the difference between discrete graph versus continuous graph. A discrete graph is a graph of distinct points. So if you have a graph right here, and it'd be point here, we have, it's like a scatter plot. Each of these points represent one specific statistic. So this is a discrete graph, and we label a discrete graph a certain way. Label it a certain way, which we'll talk about later, versus a continuous graph, which is a graph connected with lines or curves. So if this is my graph, it could look something like this, have a start and an end point. It could look like this, just a straight line. So notice we're connecting all those dots together, if that makes sense. So discrete graph, individual points. Continuous graph, it continues. It can go on. But don't get, well, I don't want you to get confused. It can stop, but notice the curve in it, right? All those points are connected. All right. Hopefully you don't have any questions on that sheet right